Hello, hello, crafty lovers. This is Grace here, getting ready to do a live. Oh my goodness, time went by so fast. My son actually had to wake me up. He's like, Mom, it's time to go live. Oh, thank you for Gannon, Christopher, because I would have still been sleeping, girls, guys and girls. All right, let's get this live rocking and rolling. I swear, I have a plan. I'm very excited about this craft tonight. I just need to get it up and running here on this iPad so that I can see your comments and then we can get going. How's that sound for some fun? All right, let's see. Lord of Lord, late night crafting. Mama takes a nap and then she does late night crafting. I don't know about you. Did anybody else take a nap today? Hey, Sharon. Hello, hello. Hi, Teresa. Hi, I get to see you twice this week. What a treat. All right, let's see who else is here. Dee is here. Text BFF. That means she's on the texting service. So if you're not on the texting service, you can get on it by just texting me. Text BFF to this number right there. And then what it means is I'll send a little notification when I go live. I send exclusive offers just to this group. Kind of as a thank you for being part of the Text BFF group. And I do send some inside scoop stuff, like behind the scenes, inside scoop kind of stuff. Okay, listen, I have this little board that had a little hanger on it. It had like a jute rope on it. I took it off. I'm gonna repurpose this little board. It's just a little square board that is stained. We are gonna repurpose this tonight into something different. Hey, Susan. Hello, Cindy. Thank you for sprinkling. Hey, you guys, what Cindy means by sprinkled is that she shared. So the more that you guys do that, the more people that come on here, the more people that come on, the more names I put in the prize basket. Your name needs to go in the prize basket to win Happy Mail. And I draw for Happy Mail, I don't know, a few times a month. So say hello when you get here. Hi, Diane from Reno, Nevada is here. And Carrie, text BFF, whoop, whoop. And Deborah sprinkled. Thank you very much, Deborah. Okay, let's repurpose. So we're going to work with a napkin tonight. We are going to work with a napkin. I've not worked with napkins in a while. And I did a little practicing earlier, so I've already used one panel from this napkin. But this is part of, I sell napkins on my website, thecomfynestwithgrace.com. This is called the Purple Delight Napkin Bundle. And it comes, this is the napkin we're going to use tonight. It has this lovely little scene with lavender and a beautiful bicycle, like vintagey looking bicycle. And there is a little kitty cat. If you look down here in the corner, there's a little kitty cat kind of peeking out of that, little watering can there that looks like it's knocked over. So we are going to use this one, but this set comes with a bit of purple. If you're a fan of purple, that's why I call it Purple Delight Bundle. It has a bit of purple in each one of these napkins. And this napkin, I love this one. It has these beautiful, like gray swirly motif in the background, and then it has all those beautiful lilacs. And then we have this one with the butterfly and the beautiful floral. So this is the set, but we are going to use the bicycle. And I'm going to show you how to decoupage this onto paper, actually, because we can do that. And I wanted to make sure that you knew that. There's so many ways to use napkins. I do have a napkin subscription coming up. It's going to be a quarterly subscription, not monthly, but quarterly. I polled the group. Let me get this out of my face. I polled the group. My free craft community called the Crafty Chicks Club. You're all welcome to join that. I polled the group and asked, hey, if I did a napkin bundle, would you rather have monthly or quarterly? And overwhelmingly, you all said quarterly. So there's a quarterly napkin bundle coming. So if you want to be part of that, I have the link to that wait list for that in the description of this video. So join us, get on the wait list so that when I have that all worked out, I will send you a notification so you can be one of the founding members. And usually with founding memberships, there are perks. So you want to be a founding member. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Nancy, for sprinkling. BFF, Miss Daisy Dennis is here. Whoop, whoop. She's a text BFF. And Denise is here, and Debbie is here. Look at this. And oh my gosh, you guys, so fun to have you all here. Spreading the blessing with sunshine and joy. Thank you, Diane. Thank you for doing that. Oh, you guys are awesome. Hey, Lori. Hello, hello. I'm going to get your package out to you tomorrow. It'll go out in the mail to you tomorrow, Miss Lori. Your package of little decorative stars. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Thank you, Diane. All right, let's get some names. We're at 48. Get us to 50. On my screen, it says 48. How many does it say on your screen? There's a little live button if you're catching the live, and next to it's an eyeball, and it says that there's now 49 people. When we hit 50, I'll add 2 names to the prize basket. I'm going to get my little slips of paper ready. How many does it say on your screen? So I don't know that you're here unless you say hello. I know that there are 48 people, but I don't know who those 48 people are. So you would need to say hello for me to know that you're here and for me to potentially get your name into the prize basket. So make sure you say hello. Let me grab a pencil and we will grab a couple of names. So we are going to use this repurposed piece of wood that's already got some holes drilled in it for the hanger. We are going to use this napkin, and when you're working with napkins, I've already used 1 ply from here, or 1 panel. You usually get 4 panels, almost always. I mean, like 99.8% of the time, you are going to get from me high quality napkins. These do not come from the Dollar Tree. These are high quality printed napkins with 4 panels. Every once in a while, there's a panel or a napkin that's so special, and I don't like to put those into my bundles because I want you to have more to work with than less, but sometimes they just have 1 panel, but almost always you're going to get 4 panels. I've already used 1, so I'm going to use another one, and what you want to make sure to do is to separate your panels. So when you see on a napkin bundle, you know, when you buy a pack of napkins, it'll say 2 ply or 3 ply. That means how many layers of paper are there. And this one has 3 layers. So you want to make sure that you get just the top layer. So I've already separated this. And we are going to use just this one section. And the way I want to separate this, I want it to look really vintagey. Really vintagey, if that's such a word. We're going to separate this. And the way that I do it is I use either a watercolor brush. I'll show you one of those. Let me grab one. I'm just going to fold this over so that I just have this 1 panel because I want to cut that out. But instead of using scissors, let me find my watercolor. Here they are. Let me find a watercolor brush. This is a watercolor brush. It has water in the barrel of the brush. And then there are your bristles, and the water comes out through the bristles. You can just use a regular paintbrush dipped in water. That's totally fine too. I want ragged edges all the way around. I don't want these straight cut edges because I want it to look really vintagey. Oh my gosh, we hit 51, you guys. I'll grab 2 names here in a minute. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my watercolor brush, and this is already ragged, but I want to cut here, this line in between the 2 panels, and then I'm going to cut these or rip them, tear them, because I don't want them to be straight edges. So I'm going to put a line of water on both of these edges, even if I'm missing a little bit of that kitty. It's going to be okay. Then what I do is I either take an eraser, the end of an eraser, like the pencil, or I use my little squeegee tool here, and I just tear the napkin. I'm going to tear it away where that line is, that line of water. And it's going to give me a nice vintagey ripped edge. That's what it's going to do, is it's going to rip that edge so it looks torn instead of cut. So it looks more authentic. It looks more vintagey than if you just used a scissor. You're going to get that really straight line. But here you get a nice torn edge, which I really like that look of that torn edge. Okay. So it seems like a small detail, but I think when you're working with a project, depending on the type of project you're using, you may want that torn edge look to your napkin, which these napkins are incredible. Seriously, you can find, I spend a lot of time sourcing out napkins, high quality napkins with beautiful colors, with lots of saturation with those colors and beautiful detail for you guys in these napkin bundles. You can find them on thecomfynestwithgrace.com or get on that wait list so that you can be part of the, you have the option to be part of one of the founding members of the subscription. Oh, Diane says, my bathroom is lavender in color. Ooh, it's so pretty. It's such a pretty color. Hey, Connie, she says, found you. Well, I'm glad you found us, Connie. You're a regular part of this community, so I'm glad you're here. Hey, Casey. And there is, oh, Tracy and Robbie. Sprinkled, sprinkled, all the love. Thank you for doing that. Let me grab 2 names from the comments. I'm going to go all the way to the beginning. Make sure you say hello so I know you're here. First comment that I scroll and see is Miss Sandra Delira. So, Sandra, your name is going in the prize basket. Her comment was text BFF. Thanks for giving me a text BFF shout out. Your name's going in the prize basket. So I'm going to get you aside here. I'm going to grab another name. For every 25 people, we add a name. Next name going in is Daisy Dennis. Daisy's a member of my craft crate. So Miss, oh, dropped you. Like little slippery fingers. Daisy Dennis, your name is going in the prize basket. Okay, so I want to put this on here, okay, but I have this painted on here. So I'm going to reuse this, and so I'm going to find a piece of paper to put this on, and I have 2 options here. 2 great options for us to use. Okay, the first one is, this is tissue paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it looks like newspaper print. It's kind of cool. It's kind of got a creamy color with a gray print on it, and the print is very soft. It's not black, it's like a soft gray color. And you'll see when you put this napkin on top, even though the napkin has this print on it, when I put it on top of this printed paper, I'm gonna try to hold this real close so that you can see. You can usually see the printed paper underneath the napkin because it's so sheer. You can usually see that underneath there. So that's one option. You could use a printed book page or like a dictionary page, or print out from your computer that has some print on it. That's one option, and I like this one a lot because it's like a creamy color, so it already looks pretty vintagey. The other option, I have some coffee stained paper here. Look at that goodness. Does anybody else, coffee or tea stained paper or fabrics? Tell me in the comments if you do this. It actually, if you love the smell of coffee, it smells really beautiful. So I do love that about it. Thank you for sprinkling, you guys. Thank you. I appreciate you guys doing that. All of you that are commenting and telling me that you're sprinkling. Thank you for that. Oh my gosh, I'm way behind on comments. Thanks, Barb. She says, that's a cool napkin. Thank you for saying that. Hey, Christina. And Peggy. Hello, hello, Peggy. Okay, so I have this. This is like, you know, remember that paper that is like resume paper, the really thin, it's almost pulpy. I don't know how else to describe it, but it has a texture to it. I found some at the thrift store. Like, who uses resume paper anymore? That old-fashioned crinkly resume paper. So I found it at the thrift store, and then I coffee stained it. Like, literally soaked it in coffee for hours, and then put it in the oven and heated it and dried it up so that I got this really crinkly, every page turns out a little bit different. And it makes for beautiful crafting. Like, look at that. Look at that one. So we're going to use a piece of this to put our napkin on, and that's going to give me another layer of thickness so that this Hello Spring isn't going to show through, okay? And then I'm going to layer some more stuff, so stay tuned for that because that's kind of cool. I love layering, and I love paper crafts, and I love decoupaging, so we're going to do a bit of all of that. Hey, Donna, thanks for saying hello. Hey, Denise, I hope you're feeling better. Oh, Denise, my Denise, I hope you're feeling better, sweet love. Who said she coffee stains? Sheila coffee stains hymnal pages, music pages, hymnal pages. Like anything that's gonna absorb that coffee or tea and take on that stained look. Look at that. And this was a big stack of them, and each little page comes out a little bit different. So you have all these unique pages to work with your projects. So I love it. And I love the sound of it. There's a texture to it and a sound to it that I just love. We are gonna Mod Podge this. Thanks, Robbie. She says, I love both of those papers. So cool. I'm so glad. Hey, Tracy. Hello, text BFF. Okay, so I want this paper. I want to fit this napkin on a piece of paper. My paper's too big. I don't want to straight cut it with, I could straight cut it with scissors, but I don't want to do that. I want it to look really authentic and really ripped and torn. So I'm going to rip the paper so it has torn edges, and I need the paper to cover this. We're trying to cover this up, okay? So what I thought was if I used these holes that are used for hanging as my guide, and then what I'm going to do is I love this bit right there, so I'm going to try to keep that. I'm going to fold this. I'm just going to do a paper crease here, folding my paper. So I know I want to tear it here where this paper crease is that I just put on it. And because it's so crinkly and dry, it really folds really crisp and really well. And then it should be really easy to just tear down that line. And I don't need it to be perfect. Perfect isn't what I'm going for. I'm going for really authentically torn. So it looks like a crinkled piece of paper that you found in an old vintage desk at grandma's house or something, right? So we're gonna tear that, and then let's do this. Same thing down here. I'm gonna go a little bit longer because I wanna tear the other edges too. Straight line that I put in my paper is enough to just get that cut so it looks really authentic. And I'm gonna do a really thin one here because I don't need to lose a lot of paper here. I just want it to look authentically torn. So I'm going to do like a little line of it here, and it doesn't even bother me if it's not perfectly square. I'm just looking for those, I want those torn edges. So I'm going to tear this one, but I'm going to do it really small here. Actually, it'd be easier if I hung it over the edge here because my hand is, give my hand more room to move. So that can go in the garbage. So look, see how it's not perfect? But that's what I like that more than I like the straight edge. That straight edge doesn't look too super vintage to me. So I'm just giving myself enough of a little fold there so that I can tear that off. Hey, Gannon. I have a visitor, you guys. Gannon, want to come and say hi to everybody? I'm going to bed. You're going to bed? You guys, my Gan man's not feeling so good today. He's been feeling icky all day, so if you're the praying type, say a little prayer for my Gan man. Good night, my bug. I love you. Okay, it's going to fit on there perfectly. So it's just going to give it a little more thickness. It's going to make it so that we're not going to see what's underneath here. We're going to hide that Hello Spring. I don't have to paint over it. I kind of like the stained look. That extra paper. Good night, Buggy. I love you. God bless you. It's going to give it a little thickness. It's going to make it more opaque. It's going to hide this Hello Spring, and it gives it like, can you hear that? It makes like a sound. I love that texture and that sound that it gives. So we are going to Mod Podge this, Deco Podge this right on here. I'm going to use this huge vat of Mod Podge mat. You can use whatever Deco Podge medium you have. This isn't the only one out there in the world, but it's a pretty common one that a lot of us like to use. So I'm going to put my board aside for a minute. I'm going to grab my dirtied up craft mat, and we are going to put, it's very fragile, so we're going to be careful with it. I'm going to grab my paintbrush that I was using earlier to Mod Podge with. It was in water, so I'm just drying it off on a rag. And we're going to grab some Mod Podge, and we're just going to put it straight on this paper. It's going to make my paper crinkle up a little bit, even better. Like, hello, we love the crinkle. We love the vintagey, worn out, old look. That's why we coffee or tea stain them, right? Hey, we hit 100 viewers, I think, which is so fun. Lots of Mod Podge on here. I'm going to put this right down in the middle And it doesn't have to be perfect, you guys. It just needs to get on there to get that opaque look. I'm gonna take another big paintbrush with lots of bristles and I'm gonna push this down into the glue. Now your Mod Podge is a glue and it's also a sealer. It will seal your paper down. The napkins, when you're working with napkins and tissue paper, it is so thin that sometimes it will be wet on top even. Once you get that glue into that napkin, you push the napkin into that glue. This is damp. I can feel the dampness on my hand through the napkin because I put such a liberal amount of decoupage medium down. So really all we need to do is push that napkin down into that coffee stained paper. And then look what we get, like these really cool torn edges. And because the background of the napkin, I'll show you one more time the actual napkin. The background of the napkin is kind of like a off-white anyway, and it's not a perfectly one-toned off-white. It's kind of got some, I don't want to say the word's duality, like it has some variance to the color in the background, but it's like an off-white color, just like that tea-stained paper or coffee-stained paper. So it just almost melts into that coffee-stained paper. It's still very thin, still very fragile, but it's so thin you can actually see the reverse image of that. If I hold it up really close, you can still see that bicycle reverse image. That's how thin it is, but it's enough that we're gonna be able to hide this, which was the goal, was to hide that underneath there so that nobody can see it. We are gonna attach that to the board so it looks super, like it was meant to be vintagey and old, like it was really meant to be old. I love working with my Mod Podge. Anybody else? Isn't it pretty? Thank you, Tracy. Marcia says, love that napkin. I'm so glad. Isn't it pretty? This is part of, I call it the Purple Delight napkin bundle. You get a set of, I think it's 5 napkins in that bundle. I just showed you a few minutes ago. You can get it on my website at thecomfynestwithgrace.com. So there you go. Those of you that are members of the Craft Therapy Club or my Craft Crate, my membership clubs, don't forget to use your coupon. You guys always have that coupon, that running coupon that you can use to get your discount on the website. So don't forget to use it. I'm so glad you guys like it. Okay, so this is gonna go here, but before we put this down, we're gonna like add some extra stuff. So I have these cool mesh, like one is copper and one is gold, and they are like a mesh. I don't even know that I'd call it fabric because it's almost plasticky. You guys, I think this came from, it was when I was scrapbooking. It was one of the scrapbook companies. I don't remember. I got it a long time ago from like Stampin' Up! Or something like that. But I have 2 rolls of this. One is kind of gold, one is kind of copper. We're gonna layer some of that back here. And I had something else. Some burlap. All right, simple burlap scraps. So when I have things that I want to use in my paper crafting, I store them in these little, all of my embellishments that I purchase and things that I might use, I store them in these little plastic containers, and I have like a dozen of them. So all of my ephemera, all of my little, like here are my little Tim Holtz little characters, my people. I put them in these little plastic containers and it makes it really easy for organizing. They fit into a bin together. They're see-through so I can see what's in each one of them. It just makes it easier than having all the different packaging from the stores. So I'm gonna grab a couple of pieces of like burlap and we are gonna glue that and some of this behind the napkin. It's gonna add more visual interest, some texture. It's gonna make it interesting to look at. So I'm winging it. I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but we're gonna put this back here and wing it so it looks a little bit more interesting than just gluing that on top of that board, okay? Let's see. I see big capital letters. Grace, you give the best tips and always show us the coolest way to do things. Robbie, you are awesome. You're welcome. Love right back to you. Thank you for that sweet comment. You just don't know how much that means to me to hear. That's my goal, is to like give you tips, make your crafting more fun, make it more successful, give you more confidence when you craft and create. And I really want to give you like, I just want to like inject you with the inspiration to just go explore your supplies and play with them and mix and match things. I love mixed media for that reason. I love to try new products. Like this is newer to me, not brand new, but I discovered this glue. Another crafter was using it. It's kind of expensive, but I will say I love it. I like it more than tacky glue and Fabri-Tac. It has a nice, you can buy it with this nice tip, this fine tip nozzle, and it comes with a little pin. That's how fine tip it is. So you can get real detailed glue, and it dries pretty quickly. I love to like try new things and tell you about it so that you know when you purchase it, somebody's already tried it, and I'm giving you like, this is my girlfriend's seal of approval. Texting like, or not texting BFF, but crafty girlfriend, seal of approval. This glue rocks. Give it a whirl if you want to. It's in my Amazon store. There's about a gazillion ways that you can buy this glue, like different options. Some come with the tip, some come without it. This version of it is in my Amazon store. I've tested it, tried it, and love it. So I love to be able to give you that information so you can just buy the stuff that works, because I told you I've tried it and I like it, it works. But also just to give you the confidence to just craft and create to your little heart's delight. Okay, this stuff, I'm gonna layer this back here. Look at it, it's been in a roll for years, so it just pops right back into the roll. I don't like these straight edges though, and I think this stuff is terrible. Like I can tear it, I think. Oh, I can't tear it this way. It's not letting me, but I can tear it down. So let's cut a piece, and I'm gonna cut it kind of at a wonky angle, not just completely straight. And then we're gonna tear, if I can, I thought I could, yeah, there we go. I'm gonna tear a little bit of that out so that I have a ragged edge instead of a straight edge. And I'm gonna cut, because I don't want this straight edge. I want it to be a little wonky. So I'm gonna cut, it looks like I have like Edward Scissorhands, like all this little bits of stuff is like flying all over the place, but I want to give myself kind of a ragged edge. We're gonna put this somewhere, and I already have these raggedy pieces of burlap that we are gonna glue down here, I think in the corners, to kind of create a frame for my bicycle. So I'm gonna put the bicycle down and I'm just testing. I'm not gonna glue anything down until I'm sure where I'm gonna put it. But I'm just like, I have a little bit of burlap hanging out here, a little bit here, opposite sides of each other, framing that out. And let's see about putting some of this stuff maybe in another place, like here. I don't need this to be as long as it is. It's really long. So I'm gonna cut this down, and I'm gonna cut it wonky. I'm not cutting a straight edge. I cut it kind of at a wonky angle. I use the word wonky all the time because I like it to look torn, and I was having trouble tearing that stuff. So let's just, I don't know, I'm just making it up as I go here, girls. I may layer even more back here, but a little bit of this stuff hanging out, it just adds more texture and visual interest. So let's get a little piece of this gold one. And now I know from the copper one, I don't need a piece that's so big. So I'm gonna cut it kind of at a crazy angle, so it's not completely straight. And then let's tear one edge of it and then cut that. It still tears straight, but I'm gonna cut these kind of like when your hairdresser gives you like a layered cut where they're not all straight because you want it to be more natural looking. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to have that peeking out somewhere. So before I glue anything down, I am simply playing with the placement. I don't like the way that looks. I got to flip that around so I get the ragged side sticking out. I'm just playing with the placement of these things, and I want it to really show. My challenge up here is that I have these two holes that I'm going to use to hang my jute rope. I'll use jute rope because it'll match this really well, but I have two holes there for that jute rope, and I don't want to get in the way of that. I think we need a little more burlap back here. Oh, I lost this one. And I actually have, hang tight, I have another, kind of was wondering if I should add more paper. So I have these two papers picked out. One is kind of a distressed brick. They're just scraps of paper that I have. Decorative paper. And then this one's brick too, but it has more like, it looks like a brick wall that was painted over. So it has a little bit of green and whites and grays on top of it. I think it even had some butterflies at one point, but this strip doesn't have any butterflies on it. This might be interesting to have hanging out somewhere. Again, want the torn edges. I don't want it to be super straight. I like the torn look. This can be underneath, but what's showing, if we're going to show this, I want it to be the torn stuff, okay? So we can stick this like maybe here, and we're even overlap. I love the way that looks, you guys, that brick. So before I glue anything, I just play with placement, and this is the super fun part of it. This is the super fun. So again, tearing my paper, so I have some really fun, wacky edges to it. And let's stick a piece back here, sticking out right here. I think I would like it like that. Okay, it may not get glued exactly like this, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull my paper up. I have those things kind of placed down where I think I want them, and I'm gonna start gluing them down. So I'm gonna use my glitter glue. You can use, for something with paper that is so thin, I like to use a thinner glue rather than, and you could decoupage it down, but I find this glue, this glitter glue that I like, it dries really fast, and it doesn't leave, when you use your glue gun, it leaves like a bead, it leaves a texture behind your paper, and when you're working with paper that's so thin, I don't like that texture behind the paper. I want to avoid that. I gotta check to make sure that if I do this way that my burlap is gonna show up. So I need to see where I'm gonna put that. And I'm layering it kind of over the paper, but at the corner here so that the buffalo, or excuse me, this burlap is gonna show up. If I don't, the burlap, the glue's gonna go right through the burlap. So I'm gonna use this little silicone tool. You can use anything, the end of a pencil eraser, but I'm gonna try not to get it on my fingers. And I'm gonna push that burlap down into that glue. And this glue does dry clear, so I don't have to worry about it showing up on my project as white glue, okay? Again, I'm just testing where my little grid goes. I don't even know what you call this stuff. It's like, I don't even know what you call it. This stuff here. I bought it from Stampin' Up. It came with 3 rolls, and I think there were 3 different metallics. It is kind of hard to glue down because it has so many holes in it. But just keep working at it and pushing it into that glue. When I get this piece of paper and I'll add a bunch of glue behind this piece of paper and I put it down, that will really help to hold that in place. Okay, so that is hard to get to stick. Even harder than the burlap because it's so thin. All right, let's get this piece of paper down on this side. And you can see, I'm gonna show you, you get a really fine line of glue with that fine tip on that glue that I bought. And I got it off Amazon. I mean, it wasn't hard to find. A lot of crafters use it, and I discovered it because other people were using it. I'm like, man, I gotta try that glue. I'm gonna move this a little further out because I wanna see it a little more than it's showing. Yes, like that. Yes, yes, yes. And then I got a little piece of burlap over here. This is so simple, guys, and this is a good scrap buster. If you have lots of scraps, if you're like me, I want the ragged edges showing. If you're like me and you don't like to throw out, I'm super frugal. I'm a super thrifter, like use up what you got. This is a great way to use up your stash of like little supplies. So this is what we have so far. I'm not done, but you can see the paper and the burlap sticking out back there. And then let's get this mesh in here like this. I think I'm gonna have to glue it with the paper, you guys, because it is working out to be so thin. So I'm gonna put a good amount of glue back here behind my paper. I'm gonna start putting this paper down and right over these layers that I've already placed. Kind of reminds me of using, you know how like at the restaurants when, like if you go to Subway and stuff, they have those condiment jars with the fine tip on them, and you get your like dressing on your sandwich or whatever you're ordering. That's what that reminds me of, actually. Oh my goodness. I love all this stuff sticking out. And actually, I'm gluing it so that the edges aren't completely glued down. See that? Because I like a bit of movement and I like things to be textured and kind of 3D, a little dimensional. I don't want, I mean, you could Mod Podge over this whole thing and like really get it to lay down flat and be glossy, almost like a trivet. I don't want it to be like a trivet that I can put stuff on. I want it to be decorative and artistic. So I like when these edges are sticking up on the end. So I'm not gluing those down because I like it that way, but you can do it. I would say you do you. You do it how you like it. I do see right here in this corner, this is a little bit too squared off for me, this little mesh. So I'm gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut that mesh so it's not so it doesn't look so square, so it doesn't look so purposeful. I'm gonna make this kind of jagged over here. So I just cut the tip of that so it doesn't look so perfect. It looks like a Mod Podge of things, really. And this is stuck down really well in the middle, but I purposefully left the edges sticking up a little. I think this one I want to glue down just a tish more. So I have paper, and then I have burlap, and then I have my parchment paper or resume paper with the napkin on top. So it's like 4 or 5 layers of things, and it gives this gorgeous texture. And look at the paper's kind of crinkly because it's this resume paper that I coffee dyed, so it is kind of crinkly looking anyway. I love that. In fact, some of the resume paper, before I coffee stained it, I crinkled it all up and unfolded it, coffee stained it, and then put it in the dryer to dry, and then it dried up all crinkly, and it makes that beautiful sound. So I'm going to show you really close up how that stuff is just sticking out. And I love these frayed edges. I love that because I don't want it to look perfect. Ooh, look at that curl. So when I hold it from far away, and I'm not putting a sentiment on here, but you could put like a little, you know, those chipboard sentiments or little stickers that you can buy. You could put a sentiment here somewhere. Let's get some jute rope on it. I'm going to add just a little bit glue there to get that to stick down just a tish more, and right here. Not a whole lot because like I said, I like that movement, but I'm just going to stick a little bit. This is how you close this glue. It's like a little pin with a pin head, like a glass bead on the top. That's how you close the glue, and it has not glued shut for me. I'm loving this glue. I did get it off Amazon. It's in my Amazon store. If you're in the Crafty Chicks Club, check the announcements. Always check the announcements in both my paid groups, the Craft Therapy Club, and in the Crafty Chicks Club, which is the free group, because first of all, that's where I do giveaways. And second of all, I always have it's the like most common question I have is, what is your Amazon store link, where I make all the suggestions of the supplies that I like. You'll find it there, okay? So this is what we got so far. Let's get some jute rope on here. I am going to grab, I want thicker jute rope. So, you know, this comes in different thicknesses. So I'm going to grab a thicker one, and we're going to string this up now. All right, let's see. I'm missing comments, so let me check comments and take a little drink here. Nancy says she remembers these from scrapbooking too. They used to be, it's a really thick roll. They used to be adhesive on one side. They're no longer adhesive. They're that old. But I can still glue them down and use them to, I think I just gave myself a little splinter with it. still glue them down and use it for layering, which I think is beautiful. And they have really pretty colors. Hey, you guys, if you don't mind sprinkling this out there, that helps me a lot. So please sprinkle, sprinkle. I appreciate it. Debbie, I'm glad you think it's so pretty. I hope it inspires you guys. Use what you got on hand. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. I think I'm going to do something a little different here. The holes are already pre-drilled on this board. I'm going to feed my jute rope in, and I'm just going to tie it. Again, going for texture. I want it to be textured. So I'm going to tie this here in a knot so that I have a little bit of stuff hanging, and it's going to be a little different. You know, so it's going to look like this tied. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I don't like a really long hanger. I prefer them a little bit shorter. So let's get this fed through here. Same thing. I'm just going to tie it. Simple, simple. And it'll have a little bit of a tail like that. Incredibly simple. Now you could, I do love the beaded rope. I do love it, but sometimes when something's wood and chunky anyway, I feel like the beads are a little bit too much. I felt like it would be too much. I did consider doing the little beads on here, but I felt like it would be too much. What would be really cute though is to just have a little tassel hanging down. Should we do a tassel with a couple of beads? Let me grab some beads, you guys. It wasn't planned, but I think that would be really cute. Fray the ends of your jute for more texture. Karen, how do you fray the ends of your jute? Tell me how you do that. What tool do you use, or how do you fray it? I love that idea because I love the texture. I love things to look super vintagey. So tell me how you would fray that. Do you use scissors? Do you use a tweezer? Talk to me about that. I'm going to grab some beads. Let's see. I think I have my little beads. Yeah, right here. I'm going to grab some little beads. We are going to string up some beads on here. So I'm going to use a thinner piece of jute rope. And these are really old, these beads. You guys, I'm starting to sweat. The lights, when I have extra lights in here so that you guys can see everything. Whew, these ring lights are like, mama's, maybe it's menopause. Mama's hot. All right. Mama needs some air. Okay. This might be fun because these are not just the, like, these are like multicolored wood beads. And I'm going to take a thinner jute rope and we are going to string up a little bit of beads here. And should we do a tassel? Should we do a teeny tassel? Would that be cute? Let's do it. I have this. We'll do a teeny tassel. Teeny. Who likes to make tassels? I love making tassels. I think they're really sweet. Okay. I'm going to make a teeny little tassel. I'm going to string this through here. Whoops. Don't be turning on me, girl. And we are going to use this. Hold on. I want that as my tie. This is my tassel. Let's cut this off. There's a method to my madness. I'm not going to show you how to do this right now. I think on my YouTube channel, I show you how to make a tassel. Definitely in the Craft Therapy Club. This was, we did beaded tassels 1 month long ago. The group is over 2 years old. So long ago we did beaded tassels. So I'm not going to like take the, it's a little tedious. I'm not going to show you exactly how I do that right now, but I'm going to create this little tassel. Oh, I missed one. There's my basic tassel, but we have to tie it off. This will be really cute, and then we'll put some beads on here. I need a little bit more rope to tie this off, jute rope. Okay, I do this so that I don't have to glue anything, my tie off on my tassel. It's just a way I discovered how to do it, and it's the way I teach how to do it. Like I said, you could go to my YouTube channel and probably search that out. But you have to do that little decorative tie on the top of your tassel that holds all of your jute together. Or your ribbon. You can use ribbon. You don't have to use jute. I'm using jute because it kind of goes with the theme of what I'm doing right here with this project. So hang tight, girls. I'm working on it. Oh, I lost my tail. There it is. Didn't go too far. I do it so that I don't need any glue to tie my tassel, and it works out really good. It hides that little knot. So here's my tassel, tiny little itty bitty tassel with some thin jute. We're gonna even that out. I do like it a little bit unruly. I don't want it to be perfect. I know you can cut it so that it's perfectly straight on the end, but this project, clearly we're not going for perfect. We're going for a little bit unruly. Now I have this double tail here that I'm going to be able to tie this on, and it can hang down on my project, but I'm going to add a couple of beads before I tie it. This jute rope is thin enough that I should be able to string a couple of these beads on here. Let's find the right size, and we'll string up a couple of these beads on this double, like this. So now I still have this. We're stringing both of these with the beads, and I'll do, like, I usually do odd numbers, so maybe 3 of them. And I love it if I can find beads that are all not the same size, because I like the variance. I like it to look a little wonky. If you're having trouble, like if your rope won't go through your bead, I use a little bit of glue, and I usually use my Mod Podge, but just put a tish of glue on the end of your rope and then like roll it so that it gives it like a hard, almost like a crusty edge, so that it will go right through that hole on your bead. So if you're having trouble threading because your jute kind of gets frayed as you're working with it, just add a little bit of your tacky glue or whatever, Mod Podge or whatever glue you have, and just roll it in your fingers, and it will give it like a hardened and tight weave to your jute. Like, see how it frays when you start to try to put it on there? Just put a tish of glue. You don't need a ton of it. A little bit of glue, and then roll it, and it's gonna make it stick together. It's gonna, you say, jute rope, you're not the boss of me. I'm the boss of you. I'm gonna make you do what I say, and it'll just string up really fast and easy for you. A couple of little beads. Oh my gosh, I was not intending to do this part, but I think this is gonna be really cute. We're gonna hang this down here, like it's gonna hang from the side here. I'm just gonna hang it, I'm gonna tie it onto that right there. So I'm gonna string this in underneath this other jute. Oh my gosh, this, you guys, I wasn't intending, I wasn't planning on doing this, but I think it's gonna be super cute. Hanging down, just more texture, a little bit of noise. It'll be, you know, if you hang this up and it happens to get like moved around, it's gonna have a little, like, my sister loves jewelry. I used to wear jewelry all the time, and I don't. And I had a little sister's weekend in Florida with my sisters, and my sister my sister Linda, my oldest sister, loves to wear bobbly jewelry. And she said the more noise, the better. She loves to wear the bracelets that like clink and clank and make noise when she moves. And I love that about her. It's like, it's just part of who she is. She always has been that way since I can remember her. She's my oldest sister. And I love it. I love it. Okay, so what I'm gonna, before I cut it, I'm gonna show you. All I did was tie that to this piece here. I ran it underneath this piece on this side, and then I tied it so it looks unruly. I have these 2 tails here. There's my little knot, and I have the 2 tails. So I'm gonna cut the tails, and then you're just gonna see this little, so cute. That little bead, that little tiny, teeny tassel. It's an all natural looking, so it matches my coffee stained resume paper and the napkin, which is off-white in color and kind of vintagey looking. And then I have all that burlap and the brick paper hanging out. This is true mixed media project, using up an old board that I had. It was a project that I did a long time ago. We're just using up, it's just a board that was stained, and then I painted on. I hope you guys like it. I hope you like it. What do you think? Tell me what you think. I hope it inspires you just to like use up what you got. Use what you got. I'm blown away about how beautiful this turned out. Robbie, I'm so glad you love it. Thank you for saying that. It means the world to me to hear those positive, kind words. It really does. Just the perfect touch, right, Terry? It's just something little, something teeny tiny. I've had these beads on hand for so long. Why not use them up? Oh, it's stinking cute, Diane says. Thank you, Diane Dunkelman. A little key. Yes, Jana, I do have little keys, little brass keys. You could totally tie a little key on here. That would be a beautiful, sweet addition to this. I agree. Great idea, Jana. I'm so glad you love it, Mary. Hey, you guys, if you're finding value from this, help to introduce me to other people by sharing this. If you're catching the replay, you can still share it. It still helps me just as much. And I would love to know that you're here. So please comment when you're watching this. Let me know that you're here. I do go back and look at the comments days after the live to make sure that I try to greet new watchers. So let me know that you're new here and where you're coming in from, or loyal fans who have been here for a while, my text BFFs and friends and members who have been here for a while as a Crafty Chick. I love hanging out with all of you guys and love to hear from you. So please make sure you comment. It means the world to me that I spend the time to share this with you, and then you just spend a minute, just a few seconds to just type in a little greeting back to me. I appreciate it so much, you guys. Oh, Jimmy and Jana, thank you for those, the little emojis. I love it. I'm glad you are loving it too. I'm glad. I hope it inspires you. The napkin bundle you can get on my website, thecomfynestwithgrace.com. There are plenty of napkin bundles there. This one is called Purple Delight. If you like this napkin and all of the purple colors of all the napkins that went with it, you're going to look for the Purple Delight napkin bundle on my website. You guys, thanks for being here. If you want to join the texting service, I'll give you that number one more time. This will help you get a text. I'll send a text alert when I go live, but I also do a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Like when I was in Florida on my sister's vacay, I was texting my text BFFs some updates. It's so fast and easy because it's right on my phone and it's two-way. I can send a message to all of you at once, or I can send a message to just one of you, and you each individually can text me back and we can have a little text BFF chat. So get on the text service. I love it. I love to be able to chat with you guys. I love that this is so different and it's something I would love. Thanks, Jana, for saying so. Hey, Barbara, she says, first time watching you. Oh, thanks. She said, I love your project. It's so cute. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here as part of the community that we have going here. I hope you'll stick around. Be sure to hit that follow button so you can follow the page. And join the Crafty Chicks Club. That's my free craft community where you can share your own projects. It's also where I do the giveaways. So if you're into giveaways and you like freebies, I do have a giveaway going on in there now. Just find it in the announcements tab inside the Crafty Chicks Club. Ah, thanks, Tracy. My poor Gannon. He went to the doctor's yesterday. Quick update. My Gannon, my 14-year-old, took him to the doctor yesterday. Doctor wanted to do a little consult with another doctor about the thing that he has, like the skin rash that's terrible, and he's been dealing with a lot of headaches and sore throat. Not just autoimmune disease really stinks. It really stinks, and when you have one, you generally have lots of other ailments that come and go. So my poor Gannon does deal with that. So Tracy, thank you for wishing him better health. I appreciate that. He's been popping the Tylenol and Advil today trying to get rid of the headache, and it just will not go away. So if you're the praying type, say a little prayer for my Gan man that he feels better tomorrow. He has to go to work tomorrow. He has his first job as a 14-year-old this summer. He works maintenance at the resort that's just a few blocks from us. And he'll work outside in the heat. They are fixing docks, and he takes care of the garbage, the dumpster. Like he works maintenance. So they pressure wash the buildings and all that outside work. So he's not feeling great. I'm praying that he feels better tomorrow. So thank you, Tracy, for mentioning that. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you, Jana. Yeah, she says, I totally agree. If you deal with autoimmune disease or anything, any ailments, really, God bless you all, because I know what it's like to have that chronic pain or chronic ailments. No fun whatsoever. Thank you, you guys. You're the best. Thanks, Brenda. And Diane, thank you for that. All right, you guys, many blessings. Have a good night of sleep. Thank you for saying hello. If you're catching the replay, please say hello. I so appreciate it. We got 2 names in the prize basket. I do that every live. I try to add more names, so make sure you say hello when you're here. Thank you, Deb. You guys are so sweet. Yes, plenty of fluids is right, Don. Many blessings to you. Love to you all. Take care. I'll catch you next time, guys. Bye.